All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started here today. Go ahead and start the slide here. So my name is David King. I'm shown right here. I'm with Appulate. I'm our customer success manager, presented my email address. I'm joined by my partner here, David Tanner from SPLI. He's the sales manager over there. I've got his information located on the screen as well. David, did you want to say hi real quick?
Hello there. Welcome to the webinar.
All
Short
right.
and sweet.
I like it. All right. We're going to go ahead and go to our next slide here. So I'm going to turn it over to David here, and then he's just going to kind of go through this, and I'm going to go slide by slide. So just let me know when you want me to go to the next one. Okay, David?
Okay. And we'll try and keep this brief, but the first slide just lets you kind of know that we've been around a few minutes, so 30 plus years. It is a privately held company, and in this particular case, the employee leasing company, that's what it was called years ago. Now it's termed PEO, Professional Employer Organization. In this particular case, the gentleman that owns SouthEast also owns the A-rated carrier that operates in the 20 plus states that we'll talk about, and also owns the third-party claims administration company. So let's go to slide 2 there if we could, Dave. So this just kind of gives you a quick overview of some of the things that we'll touch on. Some of it, since we're insurance folks on the phone, we'll roll through kind of quickly the payroll side. And we can, if somebody wants to drill down towards the specifics on payroll, and we'll get into that a little bit more in a minute, but we'll save the payroll questions towards the end. If we can go to slide 3, please, Dave. So like I said, 30 plus years, 36 years in business, founded in '86. We're in 20 plus states. The idea is to try and make it competitive to compete with the standard market for your clients. The advantage that the PEO has is that they're not obligated to abide by the same statutes that carriers are obligated to abide by when it comes to pricing. For example, applying the mod, those kinds of things. So keep that in mind. They're able to do things as a result of that sometimes some carriers that work to the advantage of the client, the broker and agent, all parties involved, that you just can't do in the standard market. So let's go to the next slide, please, sir. So right here, a couple things we want to talk about. First thing, the little red box there, it talks about make more money. In the standard market, you earn commissions based on collected premium. In this particular case, since part of what we're doing is not only administering the workers' comp and billing them accordingly for the associated code, but we're producing payroll, so there are administrative fees that we charge for that. Well, you make commissions on those administrative fees that we collect. So the only reason I bring that up is to emphasize, talking about the opportunity to make more money. If at the end of the day, you're going to typically make more in the PEO environment in a relationship with us when a client comes on than you would in the standard market as it relates to commissions. The other box there, of course, it says collaborate with confidence. We're talking about the A-rated paper that we mentioned a few minutes ago. They get entrenched in the product. So when I say entrenched in the product, now the PEO's providing a payroll service in addition to just workers' comp. They're more inclined to really think about the change before making the change. In the standard market, if all you're changing is comp coverage, that's the only thing you have to consider. You write a check, you pay the premium, off you go. In this environment, because there's so much more involved, they're going to really think through before they make their changes, because it's not just about the coverage involved. So what we find as a result is that the client stays a lot longer. So you're not having to fight a renewal. There's no audit typically at the end of the year, because since we're providing the payroll services, then we're also doing the audit every week, for example, if it's a weekly payroll cycle. So you don't have that renewal battle that you typically have in the standard market environment. Um, and that's what we're talking about, more of a comprehensive solution and make your life as well as the client's life a little bit easier. Revenue stability, they're referring there in that box to the commissions itself. In this environment, we don't accept agent of record letters or broker of record letters. So once you bring the client on in this environment, they're yours for the duration as long as they remain a client. So that's pretty valuable. Let's see here. If we go to the next slide, please, sir. This gives you a little idea of our footprint. We do have in the state of California and New York a fronting arrangement with State National. So those are the only two states in which we operate that there's actually another carrier involved other than Lion Insurance Company. So Lion Insurance Company is the carrier that I mentioned earlier that the owner of the PEO owns. With that said, even in California, all the states, New York and California, it's all our claims folks that are administering the claims. And the reason that's important is because sometimes when you get a third-party adjuster or nurse case manager involved, and the TPA is not run by the carrier, it's a self-defeating purpose. And I guess what I'm saying is those folks only continue to get paid as long as the claim remains open. Well, in our case, we want to keep claims costs as low as possible. Benefit to the client. We want to keep the mod as low as possible. The only way you can do that is you've got to be aggressive in making sure that those claims are closed. But that's the advantage also when a client or an agent that representing a client has questions or concerns about a particular claim, then they're still calling us. We'll give them, it's our nurse case managers, our adjusters, our attorneys. We'll give them the information that and try and get their help as well to try and see if we can get this claim closed at the lowest possible level. But it also talks to, that particular slide talks about high-risk codes, a little bit about our appetite. You'll find that high experience mods, we can do them. Small numbers of employees, we can do them. Startups, no prior coverage, as you can see. Less than 3 years in business. Truckers, cell towers, those things are a little bit more difficult to place. In all the states where Lion is, we have the USL&H endorsement for those that needed any of the coastal Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, of course, up to Eastern Seaboard. In the event you have clients that are in the need of USL&H, we can provide it. So that I give you an idea there. Dave, if we can go to the next slide, please, sir. Okay, this gets into a little bit more about payroll administration. So as we discussed earlier, in order for us to do comp, we have to do payroll. It's not one without the other. I really want to just say here that the systems that we have in place on the payroll side are pretty sophisticated. We have clients that, a small 3-man roofer, they'll call us with the hours for Bobby and Susie and Joey. And then we have other clients that, 800-900 employees, 1,000 employees, much more sophisticated. They're downloading Excel files from their time clocks, those kinds of things. And we have the capacity to handle those situations. So just to make you aware, we're reporting all the federal taxes, we're doing the garnishments, those kinds of things, facilitating direct deposits. But just to make you aware that those things are going on in the background as part of the service function on the payroll side. So, David, if we can hit the next slide, please, sir. Employee benefits for your clients. We do offer them a 401k plan. You'll see that we talk about, and we only do it with your permission because we want you, if you have an opportunity to try and sell other insurance products inside the client, then we want you to try and benefit from it. If it's something that you want us to handle, and you want us to do, then we'll get into it. But those are the things, some of the things that are available to the clients as a result of the relationship. 401k, for example, it's free of charge. They pay a nominal administrative fee that the employee does on their side, and they can walk away with the plan intact. So if they leave, once we set up the 401k, the client can leave with a plan. They don't, once they leave our environment, the plan doesn't reside with us. So just some nice features. The next slide, please, sir. Safety and risk management. It was a little bit more about what I was talking to earlier. We do have a loss control department. It's our folks that are going out doing site visits. We do work with the client if it's something that there's certain risks, for example, roofers and those that are higher risk codes that will do automatically. With that said, for some of the lower risk, if somebody wants loss control, let's say a safety manual, how to put together a safety manual, those kinds of things, we'll certainly help them do that. We'll also do on-site visits on their request. We try to do that once a quarter, but just to give you an idea, and like I said earlier, we were talking about the claims management folks. It's all our in-house folks, and again, trying to just get the claim closed, get the employee back to work as quickly as possible, and get the claim closed out at the lowest possible level. Next slide, please, Dave. Here again is our footprint, the map. Picture's worth 1,000 words, so that gives you an idea of where we're located. If you have a client, for example, that's located in Georgia and Washington State, this will tell you I can certainly help them in Georgia. I won't be able to help them in Washington State. We're growing into other states. This map is current, so it gives you an idea of where we can certainly help clients. It also, on the other side, just kind of touches on some hard to place risk, what we were touching on earlier: roofing, landscaping, tree trimmer, construction. We do a ton of construction, ton of elevated mods, ton of not necessarily elevated mods, but let's say you get a client with a lot of claims in the last policy period and it hasn't affected their mod, and nobody wants them. We'll certainly take a look at those and get those priced for you. References USL&H, hospitality, agriculture, those kinds of things there, just to give you a sampling. The next slide, Dave. Last but not least, this last slide is actually our claims folks. Kind of gives you a few, like I said, quick facts there. Receive over 70 claims per week. 100% of the claims are investigated. 99% closure rate on all. They're the largest third-party carrier in or adjudicator of claims in the state of Florida. They also happen to be in the state since the company's domiciled here. They're also the largest reporter of fraud. They uncover more fraud in the state of Florida. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, than any other TPA or carrier. So, with that said, that's kind of in a nutshell. I went through that quickly. I definitely want to try and emphasize to you the commissions. Like I said, for the life of the client, we don't accept AORs or VORs. I don't know if anybody has any questions. You can certainly, if you think of something after the fact and you want to email me directly, Dave posted my email up there on the screen for your information. And David, do they have the ability to talk now or write questions or?
Yeah. So there's a question section on your on everybody's panel. If you guys want to write some questions in there, we can do that. Or you can email Dave directly as well. Since we got through that really fast, I did prepare a little bit of how to find our market on Appulate. So I'll just run through that very quickly for everybody. So let me get that pulled up here. So what I've got here is basically just I brought a new insured into Appulate here. It's really easy to find SPLI. Obviously, you need to be in a work comp application, and then all you need to do is hit add markets here. Oops, of course I timed out. There we go. So we hit add markets here, and then you're going to find under open brokerage markets, you're going to find Southeast PEO showed right here. This is the market you're going to want to click and add, and then you simply just hit add market. And then it's as simple to submit a quote as going over here to start quote, filling out any additional information you want to send over. And then at the very end here, you can just simply hit request quote, and this will send it over to the SPLI team to process for you. And then they'll get that quote back over to you. So super easy to find it, super easy to submit and Appulate. I've got no
And
questions.
to add to that, David, just to let them
Yeah,
know that turnaround time, once we receive it, assuming we have, you know, a complete accord and currently valued loss runs, that's kind of it. And if you know, however long, if they've only been in business a year, then whatever's associated with a year, typically you'll see the quote back within 24 hours. So we try to be very responsive, very quick in getting the quote back to the agent.
all right, so I'm hoping we're going to see a bunch of submissions coming through today, since nobody's got any questions. And I'll go back to the map again here, because I think that was pretty crucial here for everybody here today to kind of just take a look at this. You know, we've got people from across the nation here. You know, if you've never submitted to SPLI before, you know, this is a pretty large territory map. So I think that's great on your guys' side, Dave.
We're trying to get licensed in some of the other states. It's a process, as you're probably aware. But over the next year, typically every year we're adding to that list. So.
All right, well, let me put this contact information up again here so everybody has it for one last opportunity to write down any information they might need. Oh, here we go. We've got a question. Let me pop this out here. Here we go. I've got a couple questions coming in now. We've got Hector Gonzalez. What is the minimum payroll requirement for submission?
Typically, it a lot of times it depends on the state and the risk, but I try and explain to people you know, we write the one-man bands, so it's not necessarily an employee count or a wage that becomes the limit. There is a minimum premium in some states that are associated with particular types of risk. I would definitely tell you to submit it. Just throw us in the mix. Particularly in our environment, you've got no production requirement. So I would rather you submit it and lock down the opportunity so that it's yours and yours only for 30 days. Because what happens is it locks everybody else out, and we find that happen often. As big as the U.S. is, it's amazing how many duplicate submissions that we get. So I would encourage you to submit, and then that's the important thing, is at least let's get the proposal, the quote in front of you.
Yeah, Hector added on here that it's in California for a restaurant with waiters. Not sure if that makes anything difference.
I can tell you here, I just have. So the minimum premium requirement is 19. I mean, if somebody came to us and said, "Well, David, I only have $17,000 in premium," we're not going to walk away from it. The minimum, our typical minimum is $19,000 in premium. So as long as they're right in there in that neighborhood, then, but it doesn't prevent us from quoting it either. I always try and remind people, if nobody else is quoting it, then sometimes as much as the client doesn't like paying the premium, they're still going to have to get it from somebody. So let's get it quoted. But that'll give you an idea. It's $19,000.
All right, we've got another question from Carol here. I've never submitted a quote. Do you guys have an appetite for offshore?
Yes, yes.
So
If
she
it
said
requires
Mel
US
and
LNH,
Alma,
we have the endorsement. We can
MEL and
accommodate.
then ALMA. Not sure what those mean.
Okay.
So there you go, Carol. Go ahead and submit it. Sounds like you got got a place to put it here. Great questions, everybody. Anybody else have anything that they want us to ask? Right, this is your opportunity. Ask away here. All right. Well, if nobody else is asking questions here, I guess we can. Oh wait, here we go. A whole bunch more came through. Uh, Hector said he's going to send over a few later this week. That's
Okay,
great. Okay.
fantastic.
What makes you, Carol? Question: what makes you guys different from Texas Mutual?
Well, the only difference, Texas Mutual is very competitive. You know, for a state fund, I don't know what your experience has been, Carol, but in my experience, for a state fund, most state funds are trying to push business out of the state fund. They would be one of the ones that aggressively seeks business. So they're very competitive. The only difference I would try and tell you is, you know, is maybe in our case the TPA. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they outsource the claims administration. So I would hope that we would have a benefit there. That and they're writing true insurance. So they're going to have to apply the mod. The calculation is going to have to be apply that statutory format, and we're not going to have to do that. So hopefully we'll be more competitive as a result, making the decision a better financial decision for the client, even with the administrative fees that we charge. You know, I would definitely tell you, you know, don't if you feel like you're doing the best for the client and you're getting a quote from Texas Mutual, then you know the same submission, the same paperwork that you would otherwise submit to Texas Mutual, you could submit to us, and you get a quote, and then the client has, you know, can choose either or what best suits them. Then you can kind of let them decide the pluses and minuses as it suits them.
Yeah, and I want to remind everybody as well, you guys are what we call an open brokerage in our market. So anybody can request a quote from SPLI without requiring an appointment up front. You'll obviously need that to get, binding and everything completed, but just to
Sure.
get a quote, it's not required to have that appointment. So, Carol, it's not going to hurt to just kick it over to them, see their rates, and then if you like what you see, move forward with your appointment process. Allows you to kind of kick the tires without going through the whole process. We'll give it one more minute here, and then we'll wrap it up if we don't have anybody else for today. And it looks like people are starting to head out. So, all right, we'll call it a day for today. I want to thank everybody for coming today. David, thanks for joining me on the
Yes,
presentation
sir.
today.
Thank you.
Yes, so I think it went real well. Everybody, thanks for your time and attention today. Please reach out to us if you have any questions. We hope that you consider SPLI to send your business over to. You guys all have a wonderful day, and thank you very much for attending.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.